Hello and welcome back to the another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. Well, the date is 19th August 2025 and in this video we are going to discuss some important articles which are very much relevant for your preparation. So before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give the template which we will follow while discussing these articles. First, I will give the brief summary of the article. Then we will look at the key points which are important for your current affairs which were in the article. And then the third, we will see the possible prelims or mains question. So this template will follow throughout these articles. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion. As you can see here, the article, it is about the India bloc considers moving a motion seeking removal of Chief Election Commission. As per the article, the news itself is not that important for you, but the India bloc thinks, we don't need to go into that. We don't have to look at the politics happening around the Election Commission of India right now, but we have to look at the technical points which could be asked to us in the exam. First of all, as you know that what are the situations right now, what is the current background of it, all revolves around the SIR, special intensive revision, which was conducted in Bihar. Then how Supreme Court interfered in it, and it told the Election Commission of India that the people they had eliminated from the electoral rolls to give their names and give their reasons why they had removed them. So this is the whole story, and right now we know that how there are allegations against the Election Commission of India. We had discussed that, and that's not the point of discussion right now. So here what we have to discuss is the removal of Chief Election Commissioner. Removal of Chief Election Commissioner. So this is the point of discussion which we have to focus on in this article. First of all, we have to look into what does the Constitution say about the removal of Chief Election Commissioner, which can be asked to us in the exam. For that we have to look into the Article 324 Clause 5 of the Article 324 Clause 5 of our Indian Constitution. It states that the Chief Election Commissioner shall not be removed from his office except in like manner and on the like grounds as judge of the Supreme Court. So what does it say? It says that it states that the Chief Election Commissioner shall not be removed from his office except in like manner and on the like grounds as judge of the Supreme Court. So like the way the judge of the Supreme Court is removed from his office, similarly that same process would be followed with respect to the Chief Election Commissioner. We know that for the Supreme Court judge or the High Court judge, what are the grounds? The grounds are very much clear. It is the proven misbehavior or incapacity. So if on these grounds the judge of the Supreme Court can be removed, if he is not in line with the Constitution, if he is going beyond Constitution, if he is indulged in corruption, then he can be removed. So proven misbehavior and incapacity. So on these basis the Supreme Court judge can be removed. This is what Constitution says. But it is the Judges Inquiry Act which further discusses the process in which the judge of the Supreme Court can be removed, and same process would apply to the Election Commission, Chief Election Commissioner of India. So what is the process? First, this bill, the motion can be introduced either in Lok Sabha as well as in the Raj Sabha. In either of the houses it can be introduced. If it is introduced in the Lok Sabha, then it should be supported by 100 MPs, and if it is introduced in the Raj Sabha, it should be supported by 50 MPs. Then the speaker or the chairman, they will accept it. After that there would be the in-house inquiry, as is followed in the Supreme Court judges or the High Court judges, in-house inquiry, where they will do the inquiry about whether the Chief Election Commissioner or the judge, if involved. Right now we have the case of Justice Sharma with respect to his corruption scandal which was unearthed I guess in March, and with respect to him there the case is running in the the motion was introduced, and the inquiry has already started. So similarly, if this motion would be moved, if this motion would be moved in either Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, similar procedure would be followed. First there would be in-house inquiry. After that, once it will justify that the person is really involved in the misbehavior or incapacity, then there would be the voting would be done. The bill must be, the motion must be passed in both the houses by the special majority. By the special majority. What is this majority? What is the special majority? It is the majority of the total membership of each house and majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting. So it is the special majority which would be followed in both the houses, and then the president will remove him. So finally it is the president who will remove him, but this will be the procedure which would be followed with respect to the chief election commissioner. So this is what this article here talks about. The rest, the things related to opposition, what they think, what they are going to do, that is irrelevant for you. But the point which is important for you is his removal. What is the removal procedure? What does the constitution say about it? What article of the constitution does involve with respect to the removal of the election commission of India? So chief election commissioner of India. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. Now let's look at the key points which can be, which you should, according to me, which you should know, which were in the article, so that you don't have to worry about what was in the article and you don't have to go back and read the article. Here the key points are: first, proposed motion, the India bloc is considering moving a motion in parliament to remove chief election commissioner Gayanesh Kumar. Name not that relevant for you, and you don't need to write these names if the question would be asked with respect to him in exam. So it is not preferable to write the name if the situation is currently going on. Then opposition's allegations. What are the allegations? The opposition accuses the chief election commissioner of being politically biased and failing to answer crucial questions regarding the SIR process in Bihar. Well, these are the allegations. Let's see what will happen to it with respect to it. Then for now, I guess you had got the idea how he can be removed. Then what is this Supreme Court's interim order? The Supreme Court's order for the Election Commission of India to publish a list of 65 lakh excluded voters along with the reasons has fueled the opposition's demand for accountability. We discussed that article in yesterday's discussion. Then voter list anomalies. The article mentions that in a previous election in Uttar Pradesh, the Samajwadi Party had submitted affidavits about voters being removed from the list, but no action was taken. Well, that is also an allegation. Then removal procedure. The chief election commission can be removed on the same grounds and in the same manner as Supreme Court judge, requiring a motion with a 2/3 majority in both houses of the parliament, which we discussed. And then what is the legal context? The article references the chief election commissioners and other election commissioners appointment, conditions of service and term of office act 2023, which provides certain immunity to the chief election commissioner. Well, that is the separate topic. So with this, I hope you had understood the article here. You had got the important basic points which are required for you to answer any question with respect to his removal if asked in the exam. So let us see what kind of question we had framed here, and let's try to answer it. Here the question says, with reference to the procedure for removing the chief election commissioner in India, which of the following statements are correct? First, the chief election commissioner can be removed in the same manner and on the same grounds as the Supreme Court judge. 100% correct. The motion of the removal of the chief election commissioner must be passed by simple majority. No, by special majority in both the houses. According to the chief election commissioner and the other election commissioners act 2023, the chief election commissioner has complete immunity. Here I want to add one more thing, which is very technical. Whenever you will be in the exam hall and you have to answer such questions and you don't have the proper knowledge about it, you may get confused. At that time, what you should do, look at the extreme statements. It says that complete immunity, and if it is giving the complete immunity, then how can they remove him? It is very much contradictory to the article itself, to the statement itself. So it is very much, even if you don't know the knowledge, if you can locate these extreme points, you can mark this statement correctly, which is incorrect. You can mark here it is incorrect. And so with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option A. This is the technique which you should follow, which you should continuously practice for your exams, and it will definitely fetch you extra marks marks with respect to other students, because they are, in the exam, when you enter in the exam hall, mostly whoever, even if you are the toppers, even you will ask the toppers how many questions you were confident about in the exam, they would hardly say that 35 to 40 questions. Rest, how they qualify, they follow this technique, they know the elimination techniques, they apply these techniques, they practice these techniques, and in this way they are able to qualify the exam. So this is what you have to follow too. So with this, I hope you had understood the article, you had understood the key points in it, and also you had understood the question. Now with this, I would like to first give you the brief introduction about the initiative which we had started here. Then we will move to the second article. Well, from 2nd June 2025, we started an initiative here by the name Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, we promised you that every day we will try to upload 2 videos. One in the morning session, which is this video where we will discuss the current affairs, and second in the evening session where we will discuss this static syllabus of yours. In the current affairs part, we will discuss daily news analysis. We will take up the important articles. We will try to relate these articles with respect to your prelims or mains preparation, how it is relevant for your exams. We will try to discuss all that. And in the static part, we will discuss every subject of yours which is relevant for your preparation. And by the month of January 2026, we will complete your syllabus. The only exception is that we are not going to conduct the classes for the optional subjects. That is the only exception. And here we had already started with Indian polity, which we had completed. Then we took up the governance, we had completed. Now we are discussing the history, and in history we started with ancient history, ancient Indian history. And today we are going to discuss today it would be the 5th lecture of Indian ancient history. So, and also one more thing I would like to add, as we deliver these lectures, with these lectures you need some notes to prepare from. So at the same time we are delivering the lectures, we are also preparing notes for you guys. We had already completed notes for Indian polity and governance, and they are available. And these notes are very unique because they contain the prelims questions after every topic. They contain mains questions after every concept we had discussed which is relevant with mains, so that it will give you the brief idea how the topics which we read from there, how the concepts you read from those notes are relevant in the exam. So if you want to get access to it, just mail us. You would be told to pay only 200 rupees per subject, and you would get the access to these notes if you want to get access to it. So if you want to be the part of this initiative, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now without any delay, let's move to the another article and let's try to discuss what is in this article. Well, it is about the ethanol blending. Ethanol blending. It is also the hot topic right now. People are talking about it. People are criticizing. There are experts who are criticizing the government's move of the ethanol blending, because government, when they proposed this idea, they said that it would be cost effective and there would be no compromise on efficiency of the fuel. But by the time it had been implemented, their target was ethanol 20% of ethanol will be blended with the petrol, as it was the target. But unfortunately, there are experts and some users of the vehicles, they find out that the efficiency has reduced drastically. Efficiency has reduced drastically, and it is not that economically viable too. And the vehicles which we have, especially the old vehicles, they are not fit with the ethanol 20, with ethanol blending fuel. So this is the controversy right now. But we have to look into there are few other aspects which are given in the article. First of all, the question which the article raises here, that why was this ethanol blending important? Why the government introduced it? Currently, if we look at the global situation right now, you would have seen from last 1 to 2 months, there were so many, cloud bursts. There are so many floods are happening. It is all connected. If you can connect the dots, you will find out that it is all connected to the global warming. global warming. So it is all connected to global warming. So with respect to this, and it is all, when you will further connect it, you will see that it all is because of the emissions, carbon emissions, and because of that the globe is warming, and these uneven uneven climate change are happening. So with respect to this, world has started to implement various policies in order to curb this global warming, and India, with respect to India has also introduced certain policies, especially with respect to vehicles. They thought that we will bring in the ethanol blending, by which we can reduce the carbon emissions, and at the same time, once we will reduce these carbon emissions, we will not compromise on the efficiency of the fuel. So this was the idea. But here I would like to mention one more thing. It is not all about the fuels which we use when it comes to the vehicles, when it comes to the emissions from the vehicles. It is not all about fuels. There are other ways also we can we can apply in reducing the emissions, or in increasing the efficiency of the fuel. The one of the another method which is not mentioned in the article, but I would like to highlight here, that is going for the alternate materials used in vehicles. We can go for the carbon fibers, which will reduce the weight of the vehicle. If weight of the vehicle is reduced, definitely it will increase the efficiency. Less amount of fuel would be used for the less amount of fuel would be burned for kilometers. So it will definitely increase the efficiency when the weight of the vehicle is reduced. And at the same time, if the alternative fuels are also the solution. So it is a collaborative method. It can be the collaborative method, but in our country we had only specified on the reducing the ethanol blending. We had introduced the ethanol blending. We were very much specific in regard to the with respect to this with respect to the fuel, reducing going for the alternate fuels, reducing our dependence on the fuels which we import from the foreign countries, reducing that dependence, and also increasing, we were trying to increase the efficiency by adding the biomass. So these were various aspects which we had, our government has looked into, but eventually it is very much known that it has started to backfire. The major issue the article has highlighted is that it is the drastic, the way we had approached it was very drastic. It was very sudden. We should have taken the example of the Brazil. They also introduced it, but their approach was very, very integral. They had approached it in a very in many, in steps. It was not drastic for them. It was not sudden for them. But we had our approach was sudden. Our vehicles are not that developed. We had not altered our engines with respect to the ethanol. That's why right now we are facing the backlash of it. So this is what the author here talks about. This is what this article in nutshell is talking about. Now let's have a look at the key points in the article, and so that you will get the proper idea about it. First, what is the policy goal? India aims for 20% ethanol blending in petrol by 2025 to cut down carbon emissions and reduce foreign oil imports. 100% correct, which we discussed. Ethanol production. Ethanol is a biofuel made from plant waste like sugarcane molasses or damaged food grains through a process of fermentation that we did not discuss it, but here it is very much evident. Then what are the chemical properties? Ethanol has a lower calorific value, less energy, but a higher octane number than petrol, which can improve the knock resistance. Well, this knock resistance is something very much technical. It is related to engine of the vehicle. Once you are driving, you will feel that knock voice. There would be because of the impurities in the fuel. So these are, and it is definitely related to the octane number, and it is not relevant for your preparation. I can categorically say you here, because this is what we learn in second or third year of our BTech in automobile engineering. So not important for you, but remember it is for knock resistance, what this calorific value is for, what this octane number is for, and its octane number. Just remember that its octane number is higher than petrol. Then what is the contradictory concerns? The government maintains that the impact on fuel efficiency will be minimal, but vehicle owners and experts are worried about, which we discussed. one of the nature of the ethanol is that it has an hygroscopic nature. Ethanol's tendency to attract water can cause corrosion and rust in fuel tanks and lines, especially in older vehicles. It will lead to material degradation. Ethanol can damage non-compatible rubber components and gaskets in the fuel system, leading to potential leaks and maintenance issues and vehicle compatibility. The article notes that most vehicles sold before the BS6 emission standards, which is April 2020, are mechanically carbureted and may not have the electronic control units required to adopt the new fuel blend. That's also true, which we also discussed. Then the comparison with Brazil, India's rapid E20 rollout contrasts with the Brazil's gradual, decades-long transition, which included the widespread adoption of flex fuel vehicles. That is also true, which we had discussed. So with this, I hope you had got the proper idea about the article, what it is about. Now let's have a look at the kind of question which can be asked from it. Here the question says, with reference to ethanol blended petrol in India, which of the following statements are correct? E20 fuel has a lower calorific value than pure petrol. That is true. Ethanol has a higher octane number, which helps to reduce engine knocking. That's also true. Older vehicles with electronic control units are more susceptible to damage from E20 than mechanical carbureted vehicles. That is correct. These are the mechanical carbureted vehicles are susceptible to damage from E20. So this is opposite actually. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only. With this, I hope you had understood the article as well as the questions here. Now let's move to the another article and see what it is about. Well, here the article is about the path to ending the global hunger runs through India. Well, this article in a way appreciates the India's approach, how we had been successful in almost eliminating the global hunger. You know how we had used the technology to the flesh and we are very much, we had almost eliminated it. And then the article highlights that how India can be the role model for the world, especially for the global south, and this pattern which India has followed, it can be followed by those countries too, so that they can also eliminate the hunger. And also the article also highlights that we had worked on the hunger. We had eliminated hunger by various schemes. For example, we have direct benefit transfers, the schemes like direct benefit transfer, in which Aadhaar played a huge role. And also we have the, we had other other policies we had brought in. But for example, one nation one ration card platform, one nation one ration card. So with respect to the hunger, we had sorted our issues. There are now lesser than 30 million people who suffer from hunger in our country. So we had almost sorted the issue. But the point is, the article has highlighted that the hunger issue is almost sorted. Now the another issue is that, which is of the nutrition. We need to give the calories we are giving to our people. But the issue is with respect to the, now we are able to give the calories, the required calories to our people. We are almost about to reach to the zero hunger. But the issue is that now the another issue has raised. Right now we have another issue, which is that we are not able to give the proper nutrition to our people. There are 60% population in our country who are not able to get the proper nutrition. So with respect to this, we have to work on, we have to bring in the technology, we have to give benefits to the woman-led enterprises. We have to support them. In this way we can achieve it. And the article highlights that the way we had used technology in curbing the global hunger especially in our country, such model can be also used by the south countries, global south countries, so that they can also eliminate the global hunger. And in this way we can lead the world in eliminating the global hunger. This is what the article highlights, that the path to ending global hunger runs through India. So with this, let's have a look at what are the key points in the article, and then let's see what kind of question can be asked. Here the article says global progress on hunger. The number of undernourished people worldwide decreased in 2024, reversing the sharp rise rise seen during the reversing the sharp rise seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. Definitely, we had reduced it. India's contribution. India has been instrumental in this global progress with the prevalence of undernourishment declining from 14.3% in 2020-22 to 12% in 2022-24. Transition translating to 30 million fewer people living with hunger. So we discussed that. Then PDS transformation, the success is attributed to the digitalization of India's public distribution system. When we had digitalized our public distribution system, including the use of Aadhaar, enabled targeting, biometric authentication, and the One Nation, One Ration Card platform, which ensures the portability of the good entitlement. Then shift from hunger to malnutrition. It is the issue which the article talks about. While hunger has decreased, a new challenge has emerged: a growing problem of malnutrition, obesity, and micronutrient deficiencies, mainly due to the high cost of healthy foods. And now it talks about the agri system transformation. The article calls for a comprehensive overhaul of the agri food system to increase the production and affordability of nutrient rich foods. This includes investing in cold chains, digital logistics, and supporting local farmer produce organizations. Then digital advantage, the continued investment in digital platforms like AgriStack and eName is seen as a key to improving agriculture planning, market access, and the delivery of nutrition sensitive interventions. Then global leadership, India's experience provides a model for other developing nations, showcasing how political will, smart investment, and digital inclusion can be skilled to reduce the hunger. So this is what this article talks about. Very we had discussed it and very relevant. You need to write it down if you are watching it, or if you want to get the PDF, do mail me. I will definitely send it to you guys. Now let's have a look at what kind of question can be asked from this article. Here the question says India's success in reducing hunger has been largely attributed to the digitalization of its public distribution system. However, the country now faces the challenge of addressing malnutrition. So elaborate on that or comment on that. Anything can be asked. So please do write with respect to this question. Do write an answer in 150 words if you can, and if you can, please do send it to me on my mail ID, which is in the bio here, so that I can check your answers and look at how you can be innovative, how you are thinking with respect to this, and how many marks you can fetch in the exam. So let's have a look at it. Let me see what you can write with respect to this question. Now with this, let's move to the another article here. Well, article talks about the primary amoebic meningoencephalitis in Kozhikode. Health Department steps up awareness efforts. There are concerns with respect to the primary amoebic meningoencephalitis in Kozhikode. So this article is about it. So with respect to this, the Kozhikode Health Department in Kerala has issued an alert against primary amoebic meningoencephalitis has issued an alert against the primary meningoencephalitis after 3 cases had been detected, and one of these 3 had died too. So with respect to this, we need to know whether, as we know that it is the amoebic infection. So it is caused by amoeba, or we can say that it is the brain-eating amoeba. The amoeba responsible for it is Naegleria fowleri. The amoeba responsible for it is Naegleria fowleri. This is the amoeba responsible for it, and it is called the brain-eating amoeba. It is mostly found in the waters. This amoeba is mostly found in the waters, and it enters into the body through the nose. When children see the water accumulated somewhere, and they would jump into that water for the swimming. So it is often it enters through the nose and finally into the body, and it infects the brain. About this disease, it does not transmit from person to person. It does not transmit from person to person, so please know that. And also its mortality rate is very high. Its mortality rate is very high. What are the symptoms? Severe headache and fever are the major symptoms of it. Symptoms: severe headache and fever, they are the major symptoms of it. If there are such cases, for example, in Kerala right now, if they will go to the doctor, they have fever and headache, they should tell them that if they had taken the bath in such waters, they should confess that to doctor, so that the early precautions would be taken with respect to that. So this is about this disease, which is again revolving in the news. So let's have a look at the article, the key points which were in the article, and then try to solve the question. Here the key points are: key health alert. The health department in Kozhikode, Kerala has issued an alert due to recent cases and one death from PAM, which we discussed. Causative agent: the disease is caused by the free-living amoeba, Naegleria fowleri. So this is the amoeba, Naegleria fowleri. Please do note that. Often referred to as a brain-eating amoeba. Mode of infection: the amoeba infects human when it enters the body through the nose while swimming or bathing in stagnant or unhygienic water. It then travels to the brain. Vulnerable population: children are considered more susceptible to infections due to anatomy of their nasal and skull structure, because there is wide gap in the nasal and skull structure. And another less common route of infection is through the eardrum. So it is the less common route. Then symptoms: the symptoms which appear within 5 to 10 days of infection include severe headache, fever, nausea, vomiting, stiff neck, and light sensitivity. Then high mortality: the article highlights that while the infection is not transmissible from person to person, its mortality rate is very high. Prevention: officials recommend avoiding swimming or bathing in stagnant waters, using nose clip while in water, and for individuals who have had surgeries on their noses or ears, to stay out of the water. So these are the recommendations from the officials. So with respect to this, let's have a look at the question, type of question which can be asked from this article. Here the question says, with reference to the primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, PAM, as described in the article, consider the following: the infection is primarily transmitted from person to person. Incorrect. The disease is caused by a virus. That is also incorrect. It is caused by amoeba. Children are more susceptible to this infection than adults. That is true. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option 3 only. With this, let's move to the last article of today's discussion. Well, this article talks about the unemployment rate. It has declined to 5.2% in July. It is not the numbers which you have to remember, but you have to remember the trend. You have to recognize the trend. So it has declined to 5.2% in July. So with respect to this, let's have directly jump to the key points what were in the article. First, it highlights the decline in unemployment. The national unemployment rate for persons aged 15 and above decreased from 5.6% in June to 5.2% in July. So it has decreased, which is good news. Rise in female labor force participation. The labor force participation rate for women rose by 1% points from 24.5% to 25.5%, while men's participation stood at 57.4%. So definitely the female participation rose, but as compared to men, it is very low. Then rural versus urban disparity. Unemployment rate: the the unemployment rate in urban areas, which is 7.2%, remains higher than in the rural areas. So in the urban areas, the unemployment rate is higher as compared to rural areas. Then gender disparity: the labor force participation rate for both men and women is higher in rural areas. In rural areas, the labor participation of both men and women is higher. However, there is a significant gender gap with labor force participation for rural men at 78.1% compared to 36.9% for rural women. So there is this gender gap in which is high in the rural areas. Then improved worker population ratio, the work population ratio which measures the proportion of the employed population increases to 52% at the national level, and 0.8 percent points rise from the previous month. So definitely it has also increased. So this is the data, it is not something which you have to remember, but it is something which you have to recognize. You have to look at the trend, whether it is increasing, whether it is continuously decreasing, that you have to look into. So with this, I hope you had understood today's discussion. Everything is very crystal and clear. With this, I would like to conclude my discussion here. If you would have liked the video, please do like it, do share it with your friends, and do subscribe the channel. And also please do look into my notes which I had prepared for you guys. I had worked so much hard in compiling those things. I worked really hard in compiling your notes, and those notes are very unique because after every concept, as I told you, you will see the questions after every topic there, so that it will connect you directly with the exam. So if you want to get access to it, please do mail us. You will definitely respond to you guys, and you would be told to pay only 200 rupees. This is the only amount which you can pay us for our this hard work. So thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Take care.